Seconds after Russia let its guard down, Ukraine turned Mariupol into a fire crater.
At 5:08 a.m., broad daylight over Mariupol, Russia's southern front buckled as a $500 Reboth hybrid FPV drone skimmed low, cutting straight toward a $500 million ammunition vault, the safe, powering 30 to 50% of all Crimea's Zaporizhia firepower. Yet the defenses, a $250,000 Zu-232 and a $25 million Boriseglepsk 2 EW system picked up a strange Western echo. The clash ignited in the very first second. Before the missiles launch, tell me where you're watching from, because what's coming next will shake the sky over Eastern Europe. At first light, Ukrainian intelligence picked up a pattern no one wanted to see. Russia was quietly pooling 2 million pounds of ammunition, positioning it for a preemptive strike meant to tilt the upcoming peace summit. The discovery came from a thin web of sensors, agents, and one reconnaissance drone, the Likika 100, a $40,000 scout craft, drifting low through fog-smeared fields as it tailed a Russian convoy heading toward Mariupol. But the calm didn't last. A $100,000 Orlan 10 suddenly swept overhead, its optics slicing through the haze. In an instant, the Ukrainian team knew they were burned. They dropped their ace, the $2,000 buzzer, jet decoy, flaring its signature to lure the Orlan away like bait thrown into dark water. The move bought seconds just enough. While the decoy pulled the Russian UAV into a pointless chase, the real convoy continued toward Mariupol, confirming Ukraine's worst fears. That was when the HER made the call that would rewrite the battlefield. They began transmitting carefully crafted fake radio traffic, short bursts, believable codes, snippets of urgent redeployment. The message was unmistakable. Ukraine was preparing a large assault on Kherson. Moscow swallowed it whole. Believing Kherson to be the next flashpoint, Russia shifted elite naval infantry and the Akhmat Vostok UAV team into what they assumed was a safe staging zone. Mariupol itself. They had no idea they had just walked into the exact corner of the trap Ukraine had set. At the heart of the operation, the information war intensified. Every move Ukraine made depended on certainty, and that certainty came from above. Maxar satellite shots, each worth $1,200, streamed in at dawn, revealing the growing stacks of ammunition inside Mariupol's depot. At the same time, a partisan team hidden 2 miles from the warehouse transmitted coded whispers through cracked radios, convoy arrival times, crate counts, guard rotations. Piece by piece, the picture solidified Russia wasn't just stockpiling, it was preparing distribution for a coordinated strike. But intelligence gathering in a live war zone never stays quiet for long. Phase 2 erupted by accident. A Russian special-purpose patrol, moving through a tree line, wandered dangerously close to the partisans' hide site. The team froze, breath held, hands trembling over dirt and roots until the shadow of a Russian UAV hummed overhead. With nowhere else to run, they deployed their only trick, a $1,000 laser designator, flicking a false glint into the canopy. The drone took the bait, veering toward the forest edge, pulling both the UAV and the patrol away like moths chasing a spark. The partisans lived, but only by inches. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, here analysts hit a wall. Their attempt to infiltrate the Russian CCTV network collapsed when Moscow's counter-cyber systems slammed the door shut. No hesitation. Plan B came online instantly. A Starlink uplink snapped open, giving Ukraine a live, unbroken pipe to their field teams and the incoming strike drone. From that moment on, every coordinate, every course correction, every heartbeat of the mission would flow through a single thread of encrypted light, one mistake away from collapse. Comment 1 if strategy decides the outcome, 2 if firepower decides it, 3 if no one truly wins. Russia considered Mariupol an untouchable sanctuary, a fortress wrapped in layers of confidence. But HER uncovered the flaw that cracked the myth. The Pantsir's radar carried a blind zone below 150 feet, a perfect tunnel for a low-flying assassin. As the $700 Russian FPV drone caught a flicker of heat from the incoming Reboth, the fight snapped open. Ukraine unleashed 5 decoy drones, each worth $200, scattering like digital ghosts across the sky. The Panzer reacted exactly as scripted, firing its $60,000 57E6 missiles into worthless air. Then Moscow escalated. The Boris-Glebsk II flooded the band with crushing 5.8 GHz interference, trying to suffocate anything with a radio pulse. But the Reboth didn't flinch. With a single switch, it slipped onto its 6-mile, $300 fiber optic tether, a silent, unjammable lifeline cutting through the chaos. The revelation was complete. Russia's safe zone had never been safe at all. The wind turned hostile first. A 20-mile-per-hour crosswind hammered the Reboth's flight path, making its fiber optic tether shiver like a live wire. The drone's AI fought back, firing off thousands of micro-corrections every second just to keep the nose steady. Then the message arrived from the partisans. The Russian transport packed with infantry and the Akhmat UAV team was rolling into the exact spot Her had predicted. The timing was perfect. With Russia's defenses still chasing decoys 5 miles away, HUR issued the command that shifted the entire battlefield. Open the kill box. In a single breath, every Ukrainian asset aligned, every sensor locked, and the tiny drone worth only $500 prepared to strike at a target valued in the millions. The window was narrow and closing fast. At the peak of the mission, the Reboth dove to 130 feet, scraping the contour of a shattered wall to stay hidden from a nearby Russian patrol. Then the battlefield itself turned against it. A $6,000 Grad rocket detonated close by, unleashing a 100 psi shockwave that snapped the fiber optic line so violently it nearly severed the feed. In Kyiv, the pilot froze in a heartbeat. Two choices appeared: cut the tether and abort, or push forward and gamble everything on a single strike. He chose the gamble. Shoving the throttle wide open, he hurled the drone at 37 miles per hour straight into the truck's engine block. The 10-pound-shaped charge punched through the steel, igniting fuel, and then the real monster awoke. The blast chain leapt into 2 million pounds of stored ammunition, erupting into a man-made volcano that carved a 100-foot-deep crater into Mariupol's soil and lit the horizon like a sunrise made of fire. Russia's southern front didn't just take a hit, it collapsed inward. The strike wiped out 6 elite operators, the entire Akhmat UAV detachment, and 3 weeks of ammunition meant to sustain 10,000 troops. The supply artery between Crimea and Zaporizhia snapped, leaving frontline units starved for firepower. In one blast, Russia's planned preemptive offensive, its leverage for the upcoming negotiations vanished into smoke and molten steel. And the math was brutal. A $500 drone erased $500 million of assets, a return on investment so extreme it rewrote the logic of modern warfare. Smoke drifted across Mariupol's rooftops as Russian and Ukrainian civilians quietly shared water and masks beneath the falling ash. A Russian nurse steadied a dazed Ukrainian worker, guiding him to safety without a single question of allegiance. On the Ukrainian side, rescue teams stood ready to secure any fallen drone before it threatened nearby villages. And as the haze thickened, one question lingered. When a $500 drone can tilt an entire front, who truly pays the price, armies or the civilians caught between them?